Okay, here's my discovery. I looked through speakers till my eyes were freaking almost bleeding. Okay, now this is my 8-inch version of a EVM12L. It doesn't quite have the. It's got the bottom end response of like a Celestian Blue. But here's the thing. Okay, if an EVM12L is better, sounds better because it doesn't have cone modes. Okay, then what does it matter that it's a 12-inch speaker? If there's no cone modes, you can't tell what size speaker it is. There's no signature there. There's no drum head style overtone series that's causing like this signature cancellations and that's cone modes are dynamic. You play soft and the cone modes are subdued, so it doesn't show up on a 1 watt response graph. And cone modes are dynamic. When you hit it hard, you get the cone modes coming in. It's like this percussion overtone series comb filtering that comes in, right? The EVM12L, everybody says, oh, it's such a great sounding speaker. Well, you know what that is it's the lower FS. I think for the type of music that it's being adopted in, it's more articulate in the bottom end because you don't have the group delay curve coming, but this thing freaking absolutely rocks. This thing is, Celestian would call this 97.5. I mean, it's basically as loud as a greenback, as loud as a greenback, and it's an 8-inch speaker. It has an FS of 76. Okay, it has a QTS of 0.46, I think. It's got a very, very guitar-like response. It's a little 8-inch Neo driver, and it sounds like a freaking 12. Okay, and you can't tell it's not a 12 because there's no cone modes. See, that's the thing. If you had 8-inch cone modes, if this thing had cone modes, you would be able to tell it was an 8. I would be able to tell it was an 8. Okay, but it honestly sounds like a freaking 12-inch speaker, and it's an 8. It's as loud as a 12-inch speaker. It's a very articulate, but I don't like that it doesn't have cone modes. I don't like that. I like the dynamic textural change of cone modes. Now, I don't know, maybe I should jump on the modern boat, the modern thing and just go with this, and I honestly I have a small house and I don't have the room for large speaker cabinets, and I'm just making this for studio. Okay, but then I'm recording this thing. Okay, if I'm not happy that it doesn't have cone modes, then what am I doing freaking recording with it? Well, the whole thing is it didn't cost much. It's only an $80 speaker. It's a little Neo driver, 8-inch Neo driver. Let me show you the back of this thing. Now, I modified this, okay? It did have the thing here, the logo here, okay? But I'm going to be making a phase plug type thing where you'll be able to see the cone. And I thought, well, I'm going to sand it off so nobody asks me about the speaker, because I don't like it when people are freaking asking me all kinds of freaking goddamn questions. But then if I left it on there, they wouldn't ask me questions. But at the same time too, then it's like that's not a guitar speaker. Well, neither was the EVM12L. The EVM12L was something that that became a guitar speaker because people decided it was a guitar speaker, because it sounded good. And but yeah, absent of cone modes, it doesn't matter what size the speaker is. Okay, but this is a PRV. Okay, it's a PRV 8MR500-. I'll put it in the title of the video. Okay, anyways, I took this thing off the back here and I cleaned it up. I was just looking at it and kind of thinking, and then I took my thumbs and fingers and tried to kind of milk the cone to soften it up a little bit, kind of deforming it just a little bit and carefully like working around it. But it comes out to it's about 60 watt RMS without the crossover, because they say I can't remember what it was, 250 watt RMS with a crossover of high pass of 140. Okay, so, well, you know, high pass of 140, you know, I play C sharp standard. I play in C sharp standard, so my fundamental is like around 70 hertz. So anyways, it's a little Neo driver. It doesn't have the little spade connectors. It's got these little push ones, so you'd have to make a different harness if you were going to try it in a little practice amp or something like that, because it really does. It's got that high powered speaker sound in on a 5 watt. I'm running it on a 5 watt tube amp. Okay, and it really has that high powered speaker sound. It's very articulate. Even in the bottom end, the group delay it doesn't come up so much that it's noticeable. You know, it's very, very tight sounding in the bottom, like a high power, like what people are like the EVM12L. You know, except the EVM12L has a lower FS even still, so your group delay is like almost non-existent. But if you were gonna put this in a little practice amp, you'd have to make a little speaker cable and just leave it on the speakers and swap them that way. And you could swap between, you know, an EVM12L type sound and an 8-inch, you know, standard, you know, guitar speaker type sound. But you know, you got the 8-inch cone modes. It's a different harmonic series. I mean, it's the same harmonic series. It's just in a different frequency, you know, type thing with the cone. But this speaker absolutely kicks ass. And you know, it's kind of weird that an inexpensive speaker, because I am poor. You know, I got my little 5 watt tube amp. I'm thinking, well, you know, I'm not going to buy a freaking goddamn reactive load box or anything like that. I'm just going to record. I'm going to make the amp and the speaker, you know, like a little combo type thing, flip top combo with this speaker is what I'm thinking. So I can stash it away and I can pull it out and I can just put my mics. I need mics and microphones anyways, and I just record it. So I don't know, life without cone modes. I guess it sounds freaking goddamn good. It's an absolute freaking mind blower. This speaker just it absolutely freaking rocks. But I like cone modes. I like the dynamic tonal characteristics, you know, that you get. Like you play soft, you get this tonal characteristic, and then you when you freaking punch it acts up, and I like that, you know. But it's too good of a speaker and I already got it. You know, that's the thing. I'm poor. I can't afford to just buy a whole crap load of speakers. Like some people have speakers all over the place, you know, and they just try all these different speakers, and then they use this speaker for this and this speaker for that. I can't do that. It's just that'd just be nuts. But if I build a cabinet for an 8-inch speaker, then if I do get another speaker because I want a different sound, then I'm locked into 8 inches. Where if I do a 10, then I got a lot more options, and I'm more into yeah, it's just like more into guitar type speakers where I have cone modes. So I'm sitting here listening to all these demos with the, you know, the EVM12L and some of these other modern speakers with no cone modes, and you know, I'm just thinking of this speaker whenever I hear one of those, and then I'm listening to the other speakers. But I can't really justify the space of a 12-inch, you know, speaker cabinet, because it doesn't need to be that loud, and but I mean, this thing is loud, but it's at the same time too, I want it loud enough that I can get some interaction between the speaker and my strings. Like the only thing between my guitar strings and the speaker is going to be the microphones. You know, I put this thing up on it. Well, this is just a baffle board. I'm just testing, just for testing. I just got it screwed to a baffle board. But holy crap, this thing is pretty hard to pass up, and I already have it. Any thoughts in the comments? Thank you.